Okay guys, welcome back to Marie's Acrylic and Gel Nails and my Getting Back to Basics series. So I've got my hand out and today I want to work on the polishes, the simple ways to do polishes. So I've got some base coats. This is my OPI top coat. I've got my NSI Air Shield top coat. I've got my base coat, which is OPI, and some polishes. Now, the best way to practice techniques, and it's the way we did it, especially with using nail polish at TAFE, was with the brightest red polish you can get your hands on. Now, there's a lot of arguments about these, whether they can be sanitized or not. I can actually get these that I can get interchangeable little nibs. The nibs cost me 20 cents each, and just fill it up with polish, and non-acetone, and that's a clean one there. I get these actually free when I order from NSI, because if you order over $100 more in products, you're entitled to something free. So if you don't want to use one of these, because they do say that these are unsanitary and you can't get the interchangeable nibs for them, you could actually just use a brush. I've just grabbed this one, just a square brush dipped in non-acetone to go around the edges to clean up. But we weren't allowed to do that, to get our qualifications. Boo-boos were huge no-nos. So I've got a bit lazy myself, so let's see. This will be interesting to see if even I can still do the three brush technique. So I'm going to apply my base coat, so I put it on, I slide my brush up, but I don't flood the cuticle, and then I come all the way down. And then I come to the side, and to the side. Now if you keep going over and over, that's when you get your polish, it splits and does all wonderful weird things. And it's not good for it. It should ritually, and that's why I love OPI, because their brushes are designed that you can get polish on in 3 strokes. So I'm just base coating all of these, and then we're going to go through the different types of polish applications, and then we'll move on from there. I hope you've all been enjoying this as much as I have been enjoying doing it for you. Okay, so that's the base coat on. So I have chosen, it's an OPI polish, and it's called In My Santa Suit, and that's the colour. It is such a pretty, and I know my camera is not going to do that justice, but it is just such a pretty red. So I am going to go for that one. And just give it a roll. Don't shake, roll in your hands like this. Don't do that, you create air bubbles, and we don't want air bubbles in our polish. So the first one I'm going to do is a full polish. So not flooding my cuticle, I'm coming down. I'm not worried about that being so streaky, because I didn't put very much polish on my brush. I was a bit tight with my polish, and that's okay because I can come back and do another coat. I like to keep my polish, my nail polish, I'm just going to cap these ends as thin as I possibly can. So that's my one coat. Okay, so we'll let that dry and we'll come back to it. So now we're going to do our free edge. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down here in the center and I'm going to stop about there. I'm going to come down and I'm going to this time turn my brush like so, and I'm going to do that on this side. I'm going to turn it and I'm trying to create a reverse smile line. Sometimes that is easier said than done with this particular one, and it's going to need a clean up there on that side where I've got a little bit of a mistake, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's not a big issue. I'm just going to put a little bit of acetone on my pen. I'm going to pick this up and just here I'm just going to take that off my nail on that sidewall where I got it. So that's the start of my free edge. Then the next one is what they call the hairline, which again I'm going to be, and it's what's easier for you. For my hairline, I'm going to come down with using my brush. I'm going to create the gap that I'm going to leave for my hairline, like so I don't have to come in and clean it up. And then I'm going to come back up and do my 3 strokes. Now, I don't know if any of you caught that, but I had too much polish on my brush. So when I pulled it down trying to blend it all back in, it bubbled a bit and I had to fix it. But that's okay. That's a part of learning. That's why I say I like to have my brush really, really, really clean and not a lot of polish. It's easier to come back and do my coat. So that's your hairline. Now this next one, the Slimline, is for people with really, really wide nails. And you do come across them. So, and this is probably the easiest one to do. If you have good brush control, all I'm doing, was trying to do is leave a 1/16 of an inch line down my nail. And lastly, we have the lunar, or the reversed French, if you want to call it that, or the moon, half moon. And yes, I'm breaking some of my own rules here. Okay, so that one. So I'm going to come back over this one. As you can see, it's not dried too streaky or anything like that. And now when I come back up and push back up to my line, and you may say to me that you've got customers or people or yourself that don't like that little bit of a gap that's there, or that's too much of a gap. And I still preach to my customers who like to flood their cuticles when they're painting their nails and that, you know, you'll be paying me less money if you learn not to flood your cuticles with your polish, because they'll grow better. And sorry about my arm there, you won't have to see me as much. They'll strengthen up. So I give them all that rundown. So I still only needed 2 coats. The polish has turned out really cool. So let's go to the free edge one, and let's get that second coat, and let's tidy up some of those little mistakes. There we go. So that's its second coat. So we'll go to this one, which is our hairline, which could be a little further down. I think it's more than 1/16 of an inch. But it has been a long time since even I've painted some of these. Okay, so we come to this one, which I totally ballsed up and forgot on the other side that I was leaving the 1/16 inch of a gap on the sides. And again, like I said, this is really, really good for someone who's got ultra wide nails and you want to make them look slimmer. So the first two, the two I did before this one, they're good for people who, no matter what you do, are always chipping their polishes. And lastly, let's do our little Luna. So I do say, girls, get out the reddest red. Even I had made those couple of little mistakes. Get out the reddest red polish you have and see how you go. I'm actually pretty impressed. It's the first time really in a long time that I've sat down to try even tempt something like that. So let's change it up. Okay, this client is not really sure or keen on nail art. I want to sell this client and get this client into nail art. So how am I going to do that? Well, I would talk to you in one of my videos about doing nail art you know, doing 2 fingers as quickly as you can of free nail art. So let's do it. Have you all guessed what I'm doing? Has anybody out there worked out what this is going to be? I hope so. So, yes, I'm using nail polish, and I want this to be as quick and as painless as possible. I do, however, clean up with acetone my brush and get the polish out of it, that particular one, as quickly as I can. So now I've grabbed a white, and I'm just going to put a little bit down, and I'm going to get one of my lovely dotting tools, and I'm just going to put some random white dots and wipe the polish off that one. Then I'm going to grab just a smaller dotting tool, and I'm going to give my little ladybug some eyes. And I'd let that dry before I top coat it. So there is a very quick, simple little ladybug. Now, still using my dotting tools, I'll turn the hand over, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can all see the 5 flower, and I'm just got this really light pink that I'm going to use for a French. And what I'm going to do is put just a little tiny little dot next to it of the red, just to brighten it up, and I'm going to mix it in. On my little palette I have here. And that's what I mean. You don't have to have, or be me and have 400 polishes, and you can do stuff quite simply, and easily. I'm going to use my brush to pick this up. And only because I didn't put enough polish down to use my dotting tool. But yeah, I've put a little bit of red. I've got a nice little soft pink happening in here.